started with the avian flu, and then there was SARS, and then there's MERS, and there's company. We sold millions, literally millions of dollars of infrared cameras. So when you're flying into Hong Kong, you can ride up the escalator and see cameras. You can see them at the airport in Taiwan. The times are changing, protecting worker populations, because we're now in the community transmission mode. These workers, they work, elbow to elbow. Tyson a week ago closed a pork plant in Iowa. How do we do this? How do we keep infection from crippling our workforce and endangering our employees? Hospitals and healthcare, government buildings as well, government buildings, schools and universities, as they consider how they're going to manage the return to school in the fall by students that have fever. This was an interesting situation, and North American Stainless, recognizing that this problem was compromising the reliable production of their stainless steel. So they had the security guards at the gate measuring the forehead of every single person that went in the facility. Gee, what can I do about this? And they installed infrared cameras, PI 400 series cameras. And now, instead of taking 2 hours, they can run 1,500 employees into the production facility in 18 minutes, and they love them. You're paying for them to sit in line, and you're not producing when they're sitting out there in their cars waiting to get their head scanned. And the camera's extremely sensitive, and you can see here, I'm just touching my head with a little bit of moist water, and you can see how the temperature is changing on my forehead. So you're seeing literally tenths of a degree temperature variation here. This is what you see most commonly, and again, you can see these areas on my forehead that are just a little bit moist. I'm measuring one at about 90 degrees and the one right next to it at 94. So very, very subtle temperature variations are very visible on the camera. But I'm measuring about 97 degrees right now as a high temperature inside this box. The software is looking at every single pixel inside this box. Okay, so now all temperatures that are 96 will show up. So because I don't have a fever, there's no color. The security guard can see that someone has red on their face. They immediately go to the second tent for a second level screen. It's easy to see, the purple color on my forehead is a cooler temperature. The close to white temperature on my tear duct represents the hottest temperature in the scene. But when that temperature happens to be 99 or 100, then I have a fever. We like to say that the infrared cameras are a useful screening tool, and they augment, they don't replace the use of internal temperature measurement technologies that have been used forever, like a mercury thermometer measurement. We can see even the slightest temperature variations from person to person, and that's what makes this technology so valuable. So we can't detect fever if it's not there. However, it's important also to appreciate that the cameras are sensitive to 80 millikelvin. That means they can see temperature variations less than a tenth of a degree, as you just saw on my forehead. This is the camera that we'll sell more of than any other into the fever application, the PI 400i with a 29-degree optic. This is the camera that we right now have in large-scale production. We recently, just yesterday, or on Friday, AutoZone ordered a couple cameras for their distribution centers. CVS, the drugstore, the pharmacy chain, is very interested in placing units at their distribution centers. Distribution centers are very hot right now, excuse the pun. Amazon is of course dealing with employee concerns about being close to workers that may be affected. So now all of the other distribution centers are going through the same thing. And supermarket distribution centers, Amazon pharmacies, AutoZone, there's an awful lot of opportunity out there, and everyone is asking today, how do we protect our employee population? So I can't think of a more ripe market environment to